Hi guys, welcome. Danny here from the Magic Junk Drawer. So today I wanted to tell this story about, and I had this conversation once before about seeing different psychics and how do you know if someone is real. I think that the idea of thinking that somebody would be able to tell you everything is sort of unrealistic. But I think that they have to give me something that there is no way that that they would know. Even if they looked me up online or Googled me or searched me, they would have to give me a name or something really specific, tell me something that there is no way that they would know for me to believe them. So one thing that I want you to ask yourself whenever you see a person like this, because there are people that are just card readers. If you're a card reader or you go to a card reader, that's what you have to expect that you're getting. They're going to say things like an earth sign is coming in, a Virgo, Capricorn, or Virgo, Capricorn, the one always goes out the window, or Taurus. They're going to say things that are very general like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is fine. But you have to, like, they're not going to come out and say, you know, you're going to be hired by a man named Bob, and he's going to pay you $55,000 a year, and you're going to start on next Tuesday. They're not going to be that specific. Generally speaking, card readers are not that specific, and that's okay. You're going for a card reading, you're getting some kind of insight. It doesn't have to be, you know, perfect. But what I want you to watch out for are the people that are kind of grabbing for things. So here's an example. This story happened to me years ago, and I am not, it's not that I'm an expert on psychics. I'm not. I've just probably seen everyone that I walk past in my entire life. So I know the ones that are good and worth going to and ones that I think are suckering people. So years ago, I used to belong to this gym, and I used to go to the gym in the morning before I went to work. In front of the gym was a Dunkin Donuts, so a lot of times I would get dressed, I would walk over to Dunkin Donuts, get coffee, and then go back to my car and go to work. And it was all like within a half a mile, very close. So I'm waiting in line, I'm getting on the back of the line at Dunkin Donuts, and I'm wearing one of the, I think it was like one of the Celtic knots. I think that's what it was. I don't think it was a pentacle. It could have been, but I for some reason I think it was a Celtic knot. Anyway, so I'm wearing this necklace and I'm dressed in my normal way, which was like a long tie-dyed skirt. The skirt was like blue and purple. My top was like an aqua color. And I get in the back of the line, and this woman is coming off the line. The line's really long, and she spots my necklace, and she stops, and she's got this accent. It's an unmistakable accent, and she says to me, "Oh, that's whatever it was, and I'm a psychic, and I do readings, and I do this, and here's my card." And she hands me her card with a list of things that she does, and I kind of put it in my purse and forget about it. A few months later, I'm at the gym, and the gym had changing rooms that had curtains. You know, curtains, that's it. And I was behind the curtain, and I was putting on some oil. It was patchouli oil. So the changing room, or the entire locker room, smelled like the patchouli oil. So this woman comes in, and with the accent, not behind the curtain, says, "Oh, it smells so wonderful in here. What is that?" So I'm like, "Oh, it's patchouli oil." I come out, I'm like, I know that voice. I come out from behind the thing, and sure enough, it's the same woman. Okay. So I'm like, you know, she doesn't remember me from Dunkin Donuts, but I remember her because of her accent. So we're talking about, somehow we got into the subject of Arizona, which is another video that I'll do. Arizona. So we're talking about Arizona, and she's giving me her opinion on these things. And then she hands me the card again, and it's the same card. So I get back to the office, and I call one of my friends who was up to doing all of these crazy things, and we talk about going to see her. So my friend at the time worked at, she didn't work, she belonged to the gym, so she was there at different times, I was there at different times. And the two of us had run into her a couple of times at the gym. So we make appointments to go and see her. And, this was one of those things where it was bad enough that I went in there. When I came out, why did I let my friend go in there? I don't know. I guess I wanted somebody else to tell me that I was right. I don't know. Anyway, so it was in this little basement thing, and I went in first, and she had all these cards, and she had notes written all over the cards. And the first thing that she says to me is, your family, they wear ethnic clothing. So I'm thinking to myself, what? I mean, my family is basically Bronx Italian for the most part. My father's side is a little more like Italian, but for the most part, Bronx Italian. So I'm like thinking to myself, what is she talking about? Like, there is no ethnic garb in my family. And then I thought, she doesn't know I'm Italian. She probably thinks I'm something more exotic, like maybe some kind of Middle Eastern. I don't know what she was thinking, but that's what I'm thinking, that was probably her impression of me. So then she says something about your relatives, the ones that passed over. They love the arch that you have in your house with the pictures. Well, there is no arch in my house, and there are no pictures. So that was wrong. So now you have to remember, the way that I dress is sometimes a little bit different than most people. So I'm a little bit easier, I think, to read. So, you could call me creative. You can say, people always tell me, oh, you're very intuitive yourself. Okay, that's not somebody who's wearing all these crystals and Celtic knots and pentacles. Okay, that's not really, far-fetched, to think that. So it was, and she wasn't expensive. I think she was $50. And then at the time, I was working with a girl who was going to have a baby, and she was telling me that the baby was going to be very fair-skinned, and that the baby and I would be incredibly close, and the baby would have a profound effect on my life. And it was really bizarre because I wasn't even that close to the girl that I worked with. I mean, she was just a coworker. And she was very dark, so I really couldn't fathom in my head that this baby was going to be very light. But okay. Shortly after she had the baby, she quit. So I think I maybe met the baby once. So that was wrong. Pretty much everything she said to me was wrong. I mean, there was nothing that she said to me that was right. Now, well, like I said, why didn't I just take my friend and say, let's go? But anyway, I let her go in. And she wound up getting really upset. And I was like, listen, we're not going to be upset by this woman, okay? So what happened was, my friend, to describe her, she is on the plain side. Plain by what I mean, like blue jeans, a white button-down shirt with a collar, her hair brown, pulled back in a ponytail, no makeup on, no jewelry. There was nothing on this person's body that could say that she was anything you just could not pick anything off of her. So the woman tells her that she's extremely closed off, and that if she doesn't learn how to open up her heart, she's going to be alone forever. I think that she even kind of insinuated that she couldn't tell if she was into men or women. She said something like that, like she wasn't sure, if you would be with a man or a woman, which was another thing that my friend didn't like. So she comes out of there, and she said, like, the woman had given her a rose quartz, which everybody knows is for love. She put some kind of oil on it, and she told her to keep it in her bra. Okay, anybody can tell you to do that. So we left this place, and my friend is really upset. And I'm like, listen, we're not going to be upset about this, because she didn't tell either one of us anything even remotely correct. Why would we let this woman upset us? So we get to, I think we went to get Dunkin Donuts. Went to Dunkin Donuts, and she threw the rock out into the parking lot, and she was like, forget this. But what was more upsetting about that was, while the three of us had been waiting to see this woman, the three of us, the two of us, there was a third woman that had come in. And you could see that something terrible had recently happened to her. She was very upset. She just looked very upset. So the woman said, as I was going in, said to my friend, God, I hope she has something good to tell me. I need to hear good news. And when we left, like, we both kind of felt like, oh, maybe we should have given that lady a heads up, because the woman was already upset. So who knows what this woman was going to say to her. Maybe that would have made matters worse. That wasn't going to be true. And sometimes when you're in a position and you want to believe somebody because you're in that much emotional pain, you know, it makes things worse. Like my friend, if I hadn't been with her, I mean, she was upset and I was with her. Now, if I hadn't been there with my own judgment to say, hey, listen, this was a bad idea. I thought that the second time I ran into her, I thought it was a sign. It was a sign that you should have ran in the other direction. And just by, first of all, when we walked in, she had some kind of a picture of herself dressed like a wizard. Now, right there, that should have told us, hightail it out, turn around, reverse, get yourself out of there and save yourself $50. But at the moment, it was in our heads that, oh, she knows something. It's a sign. It's a sign. You ran into her twice. So listen, if somebody starts telling you things and it doesn't resonate with you, and it doesn't necessarily even mean that they're intentionally trying to be a fraud. Maybe sometimes they think that they are helping, but they're not. If they're not hitting anything, then don't let it upset you at the very least, because it's not true. All right, guys, if you like what we're doing here at the Magic Junk Drawer, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.